Do you feel like you struggle to lose weight? Do you feel like you gain weight easily just from looking at a cupcake? And do you feel low in energy? It may feel like your metabolism is broken. And in this video, we will talk about methods to boost your metabolism. My name is Olga Onoshenko. I'm a cytotherapist, nutritionist, personal trainer, and I've got a PhD from the University of Sheffield. And this channel helps you lose weight and improve your physical and mental health. So I highly recommend you to subscribe so that you do not miss future videos, and you also can watch my previous videos that are highly valuable. So let's start with the term, the definition, metabolism, what it is. Metabolism is the set of chemical processes that turn food into energy and provide building blocks for repairing and building, maintaining cells and tissues. So for example, while you sleep, amino acids from food are used to repair tissues. When you eat bread, glucose from it enters your cells to fuel muscle contractions so that you can move. So in popular sense, metabolism is how many calories we burn during the day in total. Right? People with high metabolism burn a lot of calories during the day. People with slow metabolisms burn fewer calories during the day. But metabolism is not just calorie burning. It is how your body integrates food, oxygen, hormones, and movement to sustain life. And when we say that our metabolism is broken, it's just the top of the iceberg. But under the water, there are factors that influence your appetite, satiety, and energy expenditure. And this includes chronic stress and high cortisol, thyroid disorders, PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome in women, menopause, perimenopause, medications, for example, some antidepressants, and previous weight loss history. A person who weighs now 60 kilograms and maintains this weight over the years. So the person never gained and lost weight. The person is just 60 kilograms from after puberty and maintained this weight for a long time. And then we take a person who is 60 kilograms, but used to be 80 kilograms and lost 20 kilograms and now is 60 kilograms. These two people will have different metabolisms. If you never gained and lost weight, your metabolism will be better. If you gained and lost weight, your metabolism will be worse because of metabolic adaptations. We will talk now about how to improve your metabolism in case you do not have any medical conditions or they are managed. But what else we can do apart from going to the doctor? How else we can boost our metabolism? First, muscles. It's not only about muscle tone or building huge muscles like a bodybuilder. We're talking about just healthy muscle mass, muscle tissue. And muscles are not only for strength or aesthetics, it is a metabolic organ. The more muscles you have, the better metabolism you have. You burn more energy at rest. The amount of calories you burn due to higher muscle mass is not as big as people normally think. So yes, more muscle mass, higher basal metabolic rate, but the difference is not significant. What's more important, that muscles help you to regulate glucose in your bloodstream. How come? Muscles serve as depot for storing glycogen. Glycogen is a form of storage of your glucose in muscles and liver. But we store more glycogen in muscles than in liver. So muscles are important in this case because when we eat carbs, our glucose levels elevate, and if we do not burn this glucose for energy, we want it to be stored for later, not as fat, but as glycogen, because glycogen is easy to store and easy to use for energy. It comes and goes, That's exactly what we want. We want more energy and we want more storage in order to avoid glucose circulating in our bloodstream for hours and hours, being very high, and this is where it's damaging for us. So what it means in practice, that after meal we will not have excessively elevated glucose during excessively long time. So muscles make us healthier. And then if we have healthier muscle tissue, we will have more healthy mitochondria inside. And mitochondria, this is what burns fat for energy. So we're burning more fat and we're having more energy. Win-win. So more muscle protects against insulin resistance, helps manage blood sugar in this way, and also protects us from sarcopenia in older age. Sarcopenia is the loss of muscle tissue to the level that you cannot perform daily functions. Second method to improve your metabolism is to increase non-exercise activity. NEAT is a very important item in our calorie burning budget, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. By just moving around the house, or like me here sitting and throwing arms around, I'm burning energy. I'm not exercising, but I'm not burning energy. Later, I'm going to go for coffee, and walking will burn energy. And this is what normally makes all the difference in metabolism between people. Same weight people, same level of exercise, but one person will be burning 500 calories during the day and the other person will be burning 1,000 calories during the day, just because person number 2, who burns more, is more fidgety. This can be genetic more often than not. And can we say that this person won a lottery ticket? Probably. But if you didn't win your lottery, genetic lottery, then you can deal with it purposefully, artificially, by walking more, by having standing desk, by getting yourself a walk pad or a treadmill and doing everything you can on a treadmill. For example, you're calling your mom, do it on a treadmill. Of course, some work calls cannot be done walking, or like I have my psychotherapy sessions with clients and I'm not sure they will appreciate me walking while talking to them. But if you can have some phone calls, meetings, conferences online, do it while moving. Moreover, when we are moving, our glucose uptake increases. And again, this makes us more insulin sensitive and helps us manage our blood glucose. It's important to move during the day as much as we can, especially if you have problems with glucose management, if your blood sugar is high, if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic. Also, when we lose weight, our NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, decreases. So if we used to walk 10,000 steps every day, we, after dieting, after losing weight, we will walk the same 10,000 steps, but we will burn fewer calories on it because our body will become more efficient. This is a protective evolutionary mechanism. Some people suffer from it more, some people suffer from it less, but bear this in mind, that once you lost weight, you need to exercise more, you need to move more to maintain your metabolism and not to regain weight or to continue losing it, even if you hit the plateau. Third way to improve your metabolism is to reduce your chronic stress. This is the hardest task, and very often nutritionists and personal trainers try to deal with it. But please write in comments if you're a personal trainer and nutritionist and you manage to help a person to reduce their chronic stress, or if you're a client of someone who worked with you on managing chronic stress, please write down in comments how successful it was. I'm very skeptical about it because I started off as a personal trainer and nutritionist, and I didn't have skills before I qualified in psychotherapy to help a person manage chronic stress. Breathing is good. Walking in the greens is good. Sleep hygiene is amazing. discipline to go to bed early is amazing. Managing your exercise intensity and frequency according to what your body needs is amazing. This all helps to manage your stress, to reduce cortisol, to calm down your nervous system. But can we help a person who works at a very demanding job, stresses about it, constantly holds pressure, holds tension in their bodies, work so much that they do not have time to cook, to shop, to think about healthy eating, no time to walk and exercise? And very often it's not an excuse, it's the reality of our capitalist society. I'm not anti-capitalist, but this is the reality. People are afraid of not paying their mortgage. Like people in IT are very worried at the moment because of industry layoffs. And they think I need to work harder in order not to be fired and to pay my mortgage, to pay my bills. How will you, for God's sake, manage this amount of stress by breathing? So let's stop this nonsense. Stress is managed in psychotherapy by changing our approach to life, by changing how we interpret our life circumstances, by getting ourselves from a state of constant threat. Well, threat can be a demanding boss. Threat can be industry layoffs and worrying about your future and about your finance. Sometimes, of course, some situations is that we just need to hold on, to continue as it is for months, for years. We can just be at peace with it. Not be at peace, but let it be. Knowing that after this period, I can take rest and take care about my health. For example, startup founders, they may go non-stop for 5 years. They will be chronically stressed. They will gain weight. Their metabolic health will be compromised. But psychotherapy still can reduce the amount of pressure we put on ourselves and we allow others put on ourselves, the amount of load. So, there are factors that we cannot influence, but there are factors that we can influence. And nutrition and personal training qualifications are not enough, and skills, to help people manage stress. It's also about cognitive and emotional work by specially trained people and behavioral. It was a rant. Why chronic stress damages your metabolism? Because chronic stress creates the metabolic syndrome triad. Higher blood sugar, loss of muscle mass, more visceral fat. Under stress, we store fat around stomach area. Very often it starts to get into and around our internal organs. Cortisol drives gluconeogenesis, glucose production from liver, which is good short term. It helps us to cope with acute stress, to run from a lion, for example. But it can be harmful long term. And we can be more insulin resistant under chronic stress. And number 3, how to improve your metabolism is to get rid of chronic stress. How to do it? Think about your life priorities, probably, or go to psychotherapy. Sometimes it's your attitude that can be changed. Attitude to work, attitude to the future. Number 4, sleep. Sleep helps to improve metabolism. This point is connected to the previous point. So when we're stressed, our sleep is also compromised. But why sleep is important and why you need to do everything you can to improve your sleep? Because deep sleep releases growth hormone, which stimulates fat breakdown and repair of muscles, which helps us burn fat and build muscle. This is a very important hormone. Sleep helps us to regulate appetite. When we are underslept, we are hungrier. Sleep loss often raises ghrelin, hunger hormone, and decreases leptin, satiety hormone. And if you do not sleep enough, you may crave higher calorie foods and sweet foods. If you do not have enough sleep, you move less. Your need is lower. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis we talked about earlier. So this reduces your daily energy burn. In other words, it reduces your metabolism. And sleep deprivation, even for 5 days, increases your cortisol, decreases your insulin sensitivity. Even after just around 1 week of bad sleep, of insufficient sleep, your insulin sensitivity can decrease by 20-30%. Your glucose regulation may deteriorate significantly, temporarily, of course, but nothing good either. That's why I also advocate for minimizing alcohol intake, because when we drink alcohol, our sleep is compromised. If you do not wear any trackers, you may feel like it helps you sleep. But if you check your sleep after alcohol and without alcohol, you'll notice that quality of sleep after alcohol is much lower. We wake up many times during the night without even knowing that. We do not get enough restorative phases of sleep. So next day, obviously, we are more tired, our energy expenditure is lower, and as usual, we are craving calorie-dense foods. So short sleep means more hunger, less energy burn, impaired glucose handling. So it's a perfect recipe for gaining weight. So what's the conclusion? Manage your sleep as if your life depends on it. Sleep is your priority. And fifth, improve your cardiorespiratory fitness. As with resistance training, cardio exercise may help to improve your mitochondria, both quantity and quality. Mitochondria helps us to produce energy and burn fat. Also, training increases capillary density and it improves oxygen and nutrient delivery. And better oxygen supply improves fat burning. And single session of cardio exercise improves your insulin sensitivity for the next 2 days. And guess what regular training does? Improves the insulin sensitivity chronically, reducing your risk of diabetes. And we don't only want to train for the sake of training, for the sake of calorie burning, for the sake of improving insulin sensitivity. We also want to train to actually improve our cardiorespiratory fitness. Because the fitter we are, the more metabolically flexible we are. So our body, if it's well trained, it knows better how to deal with fat and carbs in the most efficient way, how to burn them for energy rather than laying them as fat. So our body will use the correct substrate at the right time. So better cardio fitness, happier, healthier body. How to improve your cardio fitness? I will give a very rough example. A person cannot run 5 kilometers. They go to the park, start running and feel like they cannot finish the distance. However, they can walk this distance. They also may notice that when they start running, their heart rate increases significantly and may get into the highest zone, red zone, maximum heart rate. And then even when they walk, it may stay elevated. If person keeps regularly going to the park and managing these 5 kilometers, trying to make it a little bit faster every time, and the proportion of walking and running changes, so there is more running, less walking, more running, less walking, in a couple of months, the person can run the whole 5 kilometers. Maybe the heart rate will be high, very high, and maybe the time will be still slow. But in half a year, the person will train its heart and lungs, their heart and lungs, so that in half a year, the same 5 kilometers will be like effortless. And the heart rate will not be elevated or as much, or if they try to run super fast, they can manage it in much lower time. So this is how it works, simple. There are a lot of apps that can train you to run 5K. Do this for your health. Not all people will benefit from running. If, for example, there is a lot of extra weight, there will be a lot of pressure on joints, unnecessary wear and tear. And if the core muscles are not strong, we can damage our spine. So be careful here. Maybe it cannot be running, but it can be walking uphill on a treadmill. If it's not running, it can be rowing machine, it can be elliptical trainer, it can be stepper. See what suits your architecture, your current body condition. Or it can be dancing. And summary, in order to boost your broken metabolism, do resistance training in order to create more healthy muscle tissue, because muscle tissue act as glucose sponge and they can help burn fat. Increase your non-exercise activity, daily activity, walk more, move more. It helps you not only burn more calories, but also to control your glucose. Stress and sleep are hormonal switches that can tilt your metabolism either toward health or toward dysfunction. Very important items. And cardio training helps us to be more efficient in our energy use. It makes our body smarter and more collaborative during fat loss journey. Do not try to fix your metabolism with supplements. If you really feel like you're struggling to lose weight, there are better medicine, better things, more effective things you can do. But while we are waiting for semaglutide, Ozempic and other things to become more available, you can do a lot. You can build your muscle, you can move more, you can manage stress, you can protect your sleep, and you can train your cardiovascular system. These things are very powerful. I hope this video was useful, and I hope it wasn't disheartening, but encouraging and informative, that there is no magic, there are just small steps you can do towards healthy metabolism. And when you have a clearer picture of what is going on, it's easier to manage, right? You can focus on what is really important instead of wasting your energy, your money, your effort for what is not important. See you soon.